The Sentinel is known to be reliable, fearless, disciplined, consistent, courageous, motivated, and skillful.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
All these qualities start from the mind. Your mind can be your worst enemy or your most powerful weapon.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Is this the dagger?
Learn how to achieve greatness and tap into the Sentinel mindset.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful special edition podcast. We got here today a very special guest. I've known him for some time right now. We've had some incredible conversations. I love what he's doing right now with their firm in this industry, and it just goes hand in hand in a lot of stuff that we do. We are talking today to Theo Parassakis, okay? Now, Theo is Greek, so I'm going to say how it should pronounce in Greek is Parassakis, okay?
Yes.
So that is for those of you that
take note. For those that are working on their Greek at home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now Theo, he's the Director of Operations for Business Solutions for TNT Justice Consulting Services, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, Mike, TNT Consulting, do you know who they are?
I know enough to ask the question.
Okay, good.
Give us an idea of who you are.
So I'll tell you, they're a Canadian consulting company offering services including diversity training, employment pre-screening, and implicit bias testing. I think just that's the surface of what you guys do.
Yeah.
Okay. But first of all, before we get any further, Theo, welcome, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on here. It's an honor. It's a privilege. You have some really big names on this podcast. So the fact that I'm here, it's a privilege.
Amazing.
Well, you're our VIP today. I always say that we're a VIP to someone, at least to our mom. Yeah,
exactly.
No, it's amazing. No, we look forward to kind of getting an idea of your world.
Yeah.
It's what's really cool about what you do every day.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't know. Right, like I mean, like you kind of say, "Oh, I'm in police, I work in the ad agency." People have an idea because they watch Mad Men and cop shows, right?
Yes.
But like you're kind of every day. I think is a really, really unique perspective, and I kind of want to say to our audience, be on your toes and really listen, because I think you're going to give them insight. There's specific people that are in our audience that need to get the information you're going to say today.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And the other thing I'll add to that, Mike, is that we do have, Theo, a lot of people here. A lot of people. When I say here, I mean our audience that are either existing police officers, some type of law enforcement background,
retired,
yeah, or people that are desperately inspired to get into that line of work.
Yes.
And what we want to do is, and we've always done, is create a platform for them of information. And it just so happens that the stuff that TNT does is a massive pivoting piece for an individual to get through to the next chapter.
That's right.
So before we get any further, Theo, why don't you tell us about what you do and the whole TNT Justice Consulting Service element, how that comes into play.
Yeah, of course. So again, Director of Operations for my organization, and I oversee and actually am the authoritative body that signs off on every OACP certificate in the province of Ontario. So one of my main responsibilities is to oversee the hiring and the processing of the OACP certificate. Mm-hmm. And second to that, I also do project management for a lot of our clients on the bias testing side. So it's an interesting dynamic. It's definitely different from what I was doing prior, but it's been an interesting journey. We've been doing this since 2020 when we formally started our partnership with the OACP, the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police, and it's been interesting. It's been interesting. It's been fun.
Amazing, man. So what would be some of the services that you guys would provide as the most popular services that someone would come to you for?
Yeah. So firstly, our organization's mainly known for our partnership, which is with the OACP. So that's the delivery and the maintenance of the infrastructure for that pre-hiring step for all police officers. So that's one of the main things we do, and probably the key service that I would say we offer. And then following that, we also do special constable training.
Yes.
So we do special constable training for a number of colleges and universities across Ontario.
Yeah. Okay.
And then second to that is the bias testing.
Okay. Now, yeah, and obviously, if someone does go onto TNT Consulting's website, you will see just how deep the experience is, and we do know some of them in our circle as well as use of force instructors and all. Yes. So that is pretty amazing. So Theo, I'm going to
ask a question just for the sake of kind of give context. What's a special constable? Yeah. So
Yeah.
a special constable, it's a position where you do have the same kind of powers as a police officer, but you don't have the badge, you don't have the gun, but you essentially fit that role and that responsibility within society. And there's a number of different capacities that a special constable would fit in. And an example is the campus special constables, where you are a first responder for campuses. So let's say it's University of Toronto, let's say it's Laurier University. You are that first response where when a person calls 911 that's a student there, it dispatches to police and it also dispatches to the special constables as well. So,
Okay.
Yeah, amazing.
And
And then bias testing.
Yeah.
You know, is bias testing, I think of like those old Pepsi and Coke commercials where, you know, they obviously wanted you to pick, you know, whatever brand was behind it. Like, there's no way they showed us the results of the real testing. What is bias testing, and how is it like utilized by an organization?
Yeah, so a little bit different to that bias testing. So we license what's called the Implicitly platform out of the UK, and we're partnered with a psychologist from the UK who developed and refined this system that allows people to take a test online, and you get to understand what biases you have and to what severity are those biases, right? So we do have a number of different tests that we offer. There's age, there's gender, there's ethnicity, things like that. And it gives people critical insight to understanding where their levels of bias are. Because I think even now, what we see through the media, what we see through society, implicit bias is a growing topic. We don't fully understand as an academic community, we don't fully understand implicit bias, and we don't fully understand the subconscious mind. But all these tie together, and the more that we see research come forward, the more that we see incidents in public and through the different communities and first responder communities and different career paths, we start to see and we start to learn now that implicit biases play a major role, you know, in the way that we talk to people, in the way that we treat people. There's so many different kinds of biases out there, and it's important that you want to check those biases.
Yes.
So that's exactly what we're doing. So we do have a number of clients within that realm, and I see it more of a partnership with a lot of clients that we have. We provide this bias test, and these organizations, these public, mainly they're public organizations, they're using this bias test as a pillar in their anti-racism strategy, right? So their EDI initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so to me, this is going to be something that's always going to be evolving and growing because
time.
we're always learning more and more things that are coming to the mix.
I mean, in this case, you're learning about yourself.
Yes.
Right? You have
Yeah.
to answer honestly, but it's in a safe space to get an idea of what comes to light, right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
So
That
it
is
doesn't
huge.
have to be just a police officer. It could be a special constable. Is there anyone else that would go through the platform through TNT to get this certificate?
Yeah. So for the OACP certificate, there's a number of positions that do require it as well. And a good example is nuclear security. So
Okay.
we do
Yes.
provide the testing platform for nuclear security as well. And mainly, I think about 48 police services in Ontario.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
Amazing.
good, man.
Yeah.
So with that being said, before we talk about what someone has to do and how they get there,
Yeah.
first of all, would you say that we're at a time right now where they're, law enforcement is hiring, like police agencies are hiring? Are they looking for people right now?
Yes, absolutely. Big time. And I think it's the period of time that we're in is that there's a lot of retirees.
Yes.
Because of the baby boomer period.
Yes.
So police services are actively hiring, especially at a provincial level and a federal level.
Right.
There is a massive need to hire police officers within our province. Big time.
Okay. So that's amazing for people that are like, if I'm hearing that right
opportunity.
now, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, like I have a good chance because there's such a high need.
Yeah. Let me ask you, so can you maybe shed some insight? You know, it's all different perspectives give you a clearer picture of what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay. And what we've really enjoyed kind of being in the private sector is hearing what it is that police agencies are looking for.
Yeah.
You know, we were corrected. We don't use the word police force anymore. And the reason why, and it kind of like, and the better that we were in tune with that, the more that we saw that we could be a conduit to our own people.
That's right.
And that's what we hope kind of like with this podcast, that these police agencies find the best people because they have the best pulse.
Yes.
So kind of want to get your take. I mean, because you guys are highly integral to this process, you know, again, understanding that you're being essentially a bridge into these entities and these agencies. What are they looking for? Who are they looking for? Who's the person right now that, I'll say this, we found that some of the most, like the best candidates, you know, might have discounted themselves.
Yes.
And then, you know, this is true to life, right? And those who maybe are the poorest candidates have a false confidence.
Yep.
You know, because they bench a certain amount.
That's right.
Okay, and they're of a certain stature, and yeah, they obviously they want me. Okay, so give us an idea. I mean, like, man, you go as deep as you want, or you know, maybe these are secrets that you're not allowed to divulge. But yeah, but code it. Okay,
Yeah.
but you know, so that the witty mind can pick up on it. What do the police agencies in our province? What are they really looking for?
Yeah, and so I think it's a very versatile position. I think every police service sees what they want differently. Okay, and every police applicant can have a different skill set that's required by every police service. So the biggest thing that I do want to point out is whatever training that we need to give you, it can be done through the Ontario Police College. So you don't necessarily need to have a whole on set of skills that need to be, you know, amazingly refined to do the position as a police officer. We're going to teach you how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. But I want to understand your character. The police services want to understand your morals, right? You know, some of the things that you've done in the past, some of the things that you're doing now. Are you committed to this position? And I think the best.
Can you articulate, and also can you articulate your life experience? Kind of these things, you know.
Big time.
Right.
You know, life experience is a big thing. Education is a big thing too.
Right.
Right. And I think that there's also a stereotype that coincides with what a police officer needs to be. And I think, you know, we've been making good progress on defeating what that stereotype is. You don't need to be a big, muscular, you know, strong man to become a police officer. And that's not the case. That's absolutely not the case. A lot of people do think you need to have you need to have some kind of experience or training within that same realm of de-escalation or crisis or things like that. And that's just not the case. Right. So, you know, things like, and I can tell you, and one recruiter put it in perspective for me, that they were talking about, we love seeing candidates with that customer service background, like somebody that works in the complaints division. Yeah. Like in the complaints division for Walmart or something like that. You're telling me that all you do all day is just deal with people's complaints, right? And then, you know, we see people hired outside what that normal shell would look like. So bank tellers, right? Customer service, social workers, youth workers, things like that. It's a very much an open field. The services just want to ensure that you're a person that can meet their long-term vision.
Interesting. So someone who has experience to navigate conflict.
Big time.
It doesn't matter what it is. Some type of conflict, friction, and can mediate through that. Okay, that's amazing.
That's so key.
Yeah.
And to me, what's so good about that is that it breaks the stereotype of what one thinks. So, for example, there's a lot of people that probably look at it like this. I'm going to go to school for law enforcement. I'm going to get all my training and handcuffs and batons and this. In addition to that, I'm going to go work in this. And they're creating this thing where they're thinking what the police are going to look at and be like, oh, that's impressive. Oh, you got your pal? Hey, everybody, Billy has his pal. He's hired. No, they could care less about that stuff.
That's right.
So to me, I think the one thing to kind of point out here is what you just said about that individual that could be a Walmart greeter and dealing with conflict could have way more of a magnifying glass of interest than someone that is trying to be a RoboCop.
That's right.
You know what I mean? In their minds.
Yep.
So with that being said, would you say it's safe to say that even though that the police are actively looking, would you say it's a very competitive market?
Big time. And this is something that is right across the board. So any first responder position, whether it's a firefighter, whether it's a paramedic, and all the other law enforcement careers for that matter, or as a justice practitioner, just like a special constable, they're all very competitive positions. Okay, but that's not something to be discouraged from, because we want to see people, you know, flourish. We want to help people along through this hiring process. And the way to think about it is, the police services want to help you. They want to be here for you and support you through the hiring process. You have to do the work. Okay, nobody else is going to be expected to do the work. It's you. Okay, yes. The police services are going to do what they can. The police recruiters are phenomenal in what they do and how they help and how they assess our applicants. But it's up to you. You need to put that effort in. You need to put that work in. You need to get your education. You need to get your working experience. You need to be dedicated fitness-wise, mentally, you know, things like that. And then it'll come to fruition.
Yeah. Okay. You know, I think that's my personally my biggest, I guess, surprise. But it's a wonderful surprise is the way that police agencies are so open now.
Yes.
It's perceived. Maybe it's, you know, if you grow up at a certain time period, the doors were closed.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. For any industry. And it seems so impenetrable and you had no idea. Now they're saying, this is what we're looking for.
Mike, there's recruiters right now that are actively on LinkedIn searching for people. And to me, like, to what you're saying, I wish, because I obviously had aspirations to get into policing when I was a young buck.
But it was a small, narrow door, right?
Very small, narrow door. And it was literally one-sided almost, meaning as in we are hiring. This is the process. Go.
Yeah.
That's it. But now it seems like there's almost, I hate to say it, but there's almost like intentional hand holding right now for that person that might be doubting themselves.
Maybe it's not that. Can we give it some more dignity? Maybe more coaching. Right?
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, because the agency, the people that we've been talking with, I guess they're more coaching and they're guiding
Yes.
and they're giving, I guess, some feedback so that the applicants can do something with it,
Right.
versus being in the dark,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even in the recruitment pieces now, we're starting to see more sessions where the recruiters are having feedback sessions, or they're having feedback
For real? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
yeah.
So it's a mindset that we're all in this together, and we want to help you.
Okay.
We want you to get to where you're trying to go.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty cool. So it's okay. So it's development in a way, right? I
time.
mean, it's not a huge. I mean, yeah, maybe one day there'll be a development kind of thrust that actually helps people kind of get across this line, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, maybe that's where
Yeah.
that's where we come in.
So, yeah, exactly. For the most simplistic term, everything that they have to do through you guys,
Yes.
is there any physical involved for there?
No.
Okay.
In a sense, we do have fitness logs.
Okay.
So we do dispense the fitness logs where the applicants would be required to take it to the police service.
Right.
So with that, it's just 2 weeks worth of daily physical fitness. So you're just jotting down what you do normally within your fitness, and then there's a journal to go along with it, with just a little bit more information along with that.
Okay.
But
Okay, yeah.
yeah, it's something that goes with the police service, and I can tell you that there's some police services that take it very seriously, as they should. Fitness is a big topic now, and it also, even through the research community, fitness correlates with resilience, and resilience has been a major topic within police services for the last couple of years. Well, I think even before that too, but resilience is very much at the forefront. Are you showing good coping mechanisms now for what you're doing now? Are you going on the weekend drinking with your friends, or are you reading books? Are you exercising to decompress? Things like that. And then for the fitness logs, they're trying to understand what is the importance that you place on daily physical fitness, right? Because going through the hiring process, when you don't have to worry about fitness and you already have fitness, right? Let's say you have a good, strong cardiovascular system where you have high endurance, you have high stamina. That's one less thing you have to worry about.
Yeah.
The hiring process is intensive. It's rigorous. The last thing you want to be thinking about is fitness.
Right.
And I can tell you with my experience, one of the the worst things that we can ever see or we can ever experience is that you get an applicant that commits their whole life to getting this career, goes through the whole hiring process, sometimes 10 months, 12 months, 15 months, depending on the service, depending on the time, spends all that time, commits all that time and that energy, goes to the Ontario Police College, and then fails fitness. There's nothing more heartbreaking than that.
And by the way, does that happen regularly or often?
No,
Okay.
it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. And again, the police services do a good job at communicating that.
Okay.
And it's expected.
prepare them.
Exactly, right? And the information sessions, right?
Okay.
Like this is something that is stressed through all information sessions, right?
Yes.
That all police services offer. Again, something really, really important.
Okay. And that's an important person for anyone listening, is that if you do want to pursue a career into policing, research what you're going to walk into, because the last thing you want to do, as Theo said, is go through a whole process and get taken out by something that some may consider small. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Especially if you are someone pursuing policing and you got to do that prep test that involves a run and obviously a circuit of resistance.
Yeah.
You 100% want to make sure you're doing and putting in that time doing that. It just comes with the territory.
Well, that's one thing you do control. You can control what the effort you put in every
Yes.
day to train.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the thing for us is that we never see people fail the prep when they get to the Ontario Police College. It's the shuttle run. It's a shuttle run. So and it's not easy to get to a level 7. Level 7
Yes.
is a level where we expect them, and it equates to I think a VO2 max of 42%,
Right.
which is equivalent to conducting an arrest, a
Yes.
violent arrest, by yourself. So it's a bona fide occupational requirement,
Right.
as we require it for hiring.
Yes.
So the prep, I'm not concerned about the prep. A lot of the police services are not concerned about the prep, because at the Ontario Police College, and again through the hiring process, they'll give you opportunity to do the prep and to do the pursuit and the restraint circuit at the service or at the college. And the instructors, again, same thing. Everybody's there to support you. Everybody's there to help you. They're walking you through how to do it, because it's
Right.
technique.
Yes.
They just can't walk you through the physical component, the
Yes.
cardiovascular.
Yes.
Right? They can't. And to get to if you're at a level 4 or level 5 and you just get into the police college and then, you have to get to level 7, 2-3 months isn't enough.
Yeah, it's not. And just as a tip, I'm going to give you guys a tip. No cost. It's free for you guys. Okay? So police agencies, even though the threshold is 7, it 7, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Even though the threshold is 7, if you can go past that to like 8 or 9, as an example, or whatever, you can go further and you can show that they will look at that as well as like, this guy's going hard. You know what I mean?
Well, we've had recruiters tell us directly, because it's competitive, they'll pick the 8 and 9s over the 7s.
That's right.
If everything else is equal.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Yeah.
We had one of our guys, Theo, he did to 13, I believe it was. Wow. Yeah.
Completed 13.
Yeah. And now he is an active runner. But to me, again, a mindset tool is, oh man, 7's hard. Make 8 hard. And 7 will become easy. You know what I mean? And that's a good way to look at it. Okay, so that one set is the log. Okay.
Yep.
What else does someone have to do to be able to get the certificate?
Yeah, so to get the certificate, you sign up online, and then what happens is we'll send you an information package.
Okay.
And in the information package, we identify the steps that you need to take and everything that you need to complete in order to move forward. So once there's a code of conduct and there's also a consent form. Once you sign all those, those administrative documents, then it's on to the medical, which is the vision and the hearing, and that's something that's done independently. And again, you don't need it to get the certificate.
Okay.
But what we do is following that is the Part B exam, so the SSPO, so it's a cognitive ability exam, and essentially it's used to see how well you can problem solve within a specific timeline, so under pressure. How well can you problem solve under pressure? And then there's a personality test. Okay. So just to get a good understanding as to what your good and your bad work behaviors are. And then once you complete that, you do everything compliantly with what the rules say. You get a certificate issued to you, and then you're on your way to apply to the police service.
Okay. And how long is that good for? About a year?
It's good for a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, listen, that to me is helpful. So someone has that right now, and they're now ready to go and start checking out forces, or agencies or police services. Yeah. Is there anything that you would say for someone now as you prepare yourself to go and apply with this in hand? What should their next steps be for planning? If they, let's just say, already have their
preparatory,
if they already have their if they already have their physical in order, what else should they be looking at doing to better themselves and get themselves an edge?
So great question. I do a lot of these presentations for our colleges that have police foundations and criminal justice programs. I do these presentations and I tell them right then and there is when you need to start preparing. You need to start preparing much earlier than just getting a certificate and then going to apply and then not being ready to apply. You need to think differently about the things that you could do to make yourself more competitive. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. So think about it. If you're going for these positions, and again, it's competitive, if there's an opening of 50, you're probably going to go up against a couple thousand people for those positions of 50. Wow. Yeah.
But by the way, side note, pause that note. How many people, is there a stat of how many people apply every year to try to get onto agencies across
generally?
It's like a general stat.
So I can tell you with the OACP certificate, we see around 7,000 to 8,000 people a year.
Okay, wow.
Into the system. That doesn't include the individuals that already have a certificate that's already in the system.
Right.
I see.
That's average.
All new.
Wow. All new.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think it's important for those listening.
Yeah.
What you're going up against.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Continue.
Yeah.
Right.
So the thing that I encourage is to always think outside the box. Think differently. Think about things that's going to make you more competitive. Because at the end of the day, you will attend an interview, and in the interview, they may ask you, what makes you stand out more than the people waiting outside this room doing the same interview as you? So you need to think differently. You need to be competitive. And there's different ways to do that. And again, it's not limited to getting certain licenses like a PAL or fitting within that old stereotype of what a police officer is. There's so many different things that you can do to make you competitive, right? So a good example, I like to give is think about the different needs for a police service. Okay, one of those things are languages. So yes. I can tell you with my time. So I spent 5 years as a correctional officer, and in my time I had a few incidents while in uniform where we had individuals that couldn't speak English. Right, so this was an intake unit. They would come into an intake unit, and there was one particular situation where an individual got so frustrated they ended up breaking the glass And this was a direct supervision unit. So now there's broken glass all over the unit. You have a very frustrated person that's going to be very difficult to deal with. And, you know, now, so on my end, I had to think critically as to how I had to address that situation. And now potentially there's all these weapons on the unit.
Yes.
So think about it
because broken glass can be used as a weapon. Just in case people didn't connect that.
Exactly. So, you know, thinking about this from a policing perspective, we're in the most diverse city in the world.
Yes.
So this is something police face on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Right. So think about, again, you're thinking about what makes you more competitive. Maybe learning a second language might make you a little bit more competitive because you're giving the police service an edge. You're helping the police service, which is something that is a unique need to them that maybe a number of individuals couldn't else offer.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah, language.
As
I mean,
one example.
I mean, language. What does language speak to? The ability to communicate.
That's right.
Okay,
Right.
so I mean, let's lean into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
How important is it for people to be able to articulate, communicate their ideas, and to be able to, be a strong communicator in terms of policing?
Oh,
And I
yeah,
say that
that's
just
good.
because
Yeah.
generally it's thought of, I'm a cop, I got a badge, I'm an authority, and I have lethal force if I need.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I got dispatched to bring in, some backup.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes for a good movie.
Yeah.
The modern
Well
day,
said.
the modern day police officer, can they rely on these things?
Of course. Like
Okay.
this is interpersonal skills, right?
Yeah.
It is so critical to your job and your responsibility as a police officer. And by the way, these are things that are measured throughout the whole stage, right? Throughout the whole hiring process, right? Sometimes you may meet an inspector that's not in uniform in the elevator, and they might ask you, "Oh, hey, how you doing? You know, how's your day today?" And what's going to be your response? Is it going to be an articulate response? Is it going to be a warm response? Is it going to be a cold response? So you have to think differently. Police officers are getting called to situations that not a lot of people want to deal with. Okay,
I think
And-
you should say that again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's the reality, right?
That's a reality.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
yeah. I won't make you say it again.
No.
No, but they are called into some of the most difficult situations where no one would ever want to go, and that's what makes it a commendable job, because
That's right.
It's really difficult to go in there, right?
It is incredibly rewarding, and
Yeah.
it takes a certain person to be able to do that. Because one of my instructors from Police Foundations put it in a really good way. A police officer is a person running towards the incident when everybody in the crowd is running opposite to.
Yes.
Right. So think about it from an active shooter situation. Think about it from a fight.
Yes.
You're the person that needs to respond.
We call them protectors.
Protectors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Natural born protectors. Movies out
Yeah.
next year. Right?
So what I think is so good about what you're saying right now is because I truly believe, and this is maybe my old school style of thinking, is
Yeah.
I think our new generation here has a desire to do many things in life, and
Yes.
policing is obviously one of them. But I think it's so important people understand that what you do in your life now needs to start shaping you to get into that service. So for example, if you're someone that's very shy but wants to be a police officer, work on that.
That's right.
You need to start being someone that can be confidently vocal and communicate and articulate and basically have a negative situation, have a positive outcome, right? So that's one thing. Second thing I can say is that I think practices that people do now. Now, for us, Theo, we have a security agency here that we deal with a lot of high-level clientele. And we'll notice that some of our staff are looking at things in a certain way where, for example, they'll say like, yeah, I don't want to work nights, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that. And again, these are also the same people that also have deep aspirations to getting into policing.
Yeah.
So again, the more you can
yeah,
research and
I don't like being on my feet. This
Yeah.
work's a little boring.
Exactly.
Kind
Yeah.
of with it.
So to me, I think it's important that people understand that what you're walking into and how to navigate through that. You know what I mean?
I want to say, like, kind of before you came up onto our office floor, a guy came up and left. I'm not sure if you saw him, Constantine. His name's Michael. Let's just call him Michael. It's
Okay.
a great name, by the way.
Are you making this name up?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And he came and returned his uniform.
Okay.
And I remember, like, when someone comes and is returning their uniform, sometimes it's not always a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause maybe they were terminated. That's the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I was not too sure why Michael was on the floor, because he's amazing. This guy's like incredible. And I remember he just loved hard work, incredibly professional from day one. And anything that was difficult, he just went into it. So I said, hey, you throw it out there. I see you're returning your uniform. What's going on? Hey, I just got picked up by York.
Oh,
So I
amazing.
just got picked up by York Region. He's like, And then that's what you hope, right?
Yeah.
And this is what he said. He literally said this. He says, yeah, they told me I have 4 days on, 4 days off.
Yep.
And I was trying to make sure that I can keep working with you guys.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Because that's him. He is an incredibly hard, disciplined worker with incredible integrity.
Yeah.
And he actually, I mean, look, it could have been lip service, but we know him enough that if they let him still work with us,
Yeah.
he probably still would have worked with us.
Yeah.
Because he's a guy who loves to work hard.
Amazing.
And he's a next level pro. This is why he's joining that agency.
Yes.
And they have an amazing person.
Another sentinel lost.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. Did you know this?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
maybe you're finding out
yeah,
this news.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. We'll cry off screen. Okay. But I mean, that means like that is him,
Yeah.
and he walks into this great new career because it's the fabric of him.
Yes.
Yeah, even though, like, think about that mentality. He hears when he has his days off, and he's still thinking, okay, how can I still keep working?
Yeah.
Right.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, kudos to you, Michael. And all the best, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that speaks to your organization well, right? So he's got that skill set, he's got that mentality, which is great, but your organization also fostered that. And I
Right.
think that's really important. It speaks to, the service that you guys offer and what you offer as an organization and what your team is capable of and who your team is. This is a fabric of your team,
Right.
right? Which is incredible. And that's a great thing.
No,
Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, we
man.
can take credit for to foster that type of culture.
Yep.
But at the same time, some people bring it, which
That's
is
right.
awesome, and we benefit because some people just have it. And
But as you said at the very beginning, here's what it is, but you're gonna have to do the work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah, and as
Same
much as
thing.
we make that happen, and we have like our secret sauce, and we have our vision and our values, people bring in who they are here.
Yes.
Okay, and this is kind of I'm gonna jump on a soapbox now. Whether your parents fostered this in you or not,
Yeah.
do not be allergic to hard work.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Right? I mean, like, look, I can probably speak to the three of us in this room. Our parents would never let us cut corners.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that true?
Right.
Okay, we had to finish our plate of food. We had to make our bed. We had to do our own laundry. We were expected to cut the grass, earn income, pay for, like, isn't that true?
That's right.
Okay, so if you're one of those oddballs that thinks that you're going to get it easy and still make a police agency, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not going to happen. You do need to put the hard work in, and sometimes it may not be natural for a number of people. And I can tell you one of the most common questions I get is how do I find a mentor? Because
Oh, hey, that's
yeah.
good.
Well, it is a great question because that's a lot of advice that we see leaders give out, right?
Yeah.
Is to say, try to find a mentor. A mentor is somebody that will help develop you. And I was lucky
Interesting.
enough
Yeah.
to have mentors in my life. And again, same thing. You need to be out there. You need to put the work in, and sometimes things will happen naturally. And that's the best way that it happens, organically. I can tell you through myself. So going back to, being competitive and figuring out different ways to make yourself stand out a little bit more or give yourself a strong resume, is I used to volunteer a lot. I used to work full time, and I used to volunteer 4 times a week.
Wow.
And that was downtown Toronto. So
Yeah.
I was commuting uptown, and then I was volunteering downtown.
Yeah.
So what I found was getting into corrections, all my hours for myself volunteering is what helped me refine myself and my skills and my interpersonal ability and my conflict resolution ability. That's what helped me get into corrections. Out of the goodness of my heart, I went downtown to volunteer. I found a great location, started volunteering. Sure enough, I met a number of police leaders that went there just naturally when they could, just to give back to the community. It wasn't in uniform, wasn't on duty. They just wanted to help people.
Wow.
And I ended up meeting a number of these people. I met other individuals from the ministry. And they took me on as them being my mentor, and I learned a lot from them. And through my time there, through my time volunteering, again, something I did, still working full time, I was able to have a number of situations and interactions with the vulnerable population, sometimes that were fairly critical or considered crisis. I got a really solid experience and background in that field, and that's what helped me with my corrections interview. That helped me get that job as a correctional officer.
So good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the thing that you said about mentorship, I put a lot of value into that.
Yeah.
We regularly talk to our people. In fact, yesterday I had a conversation with one of our sentinels who was letting me know he's looking at applying at a police agency or service. Quit saying, get that out here. And
We'll edit it out
Yeah,
there.
and I was like, he was telling me what he was going to do, and we had about a 20-minute conversation.
Yeah.
About, do you have this checked? Do you have this checked? Do you have this checked? And if the answer is no, that's fine. If you want to go just for the purpose of experiencing what's going to be like,
Yeah.
go for it. But if you don't get on, don't be discouraged.
That's right.
Like, and that was the point of the call, is don't be discouraged. I want you to just look at it like this. And if anything, look at it as in the best thing you can get out of this is that you're going to go through a process that if you have to go through it again, you'll be that much better.
That's
so
right.
Mentorship is huge. And us as an organization, we spend a lot of our time doing that.
That's amazing.
We've recognized as an agency that, we are a gateway or a stepping stone for people to come in, get experience, get mentorship, get anything that they need that's going to propel them to get closer to their goals. We've recognized that. We've embraced it. It was hard at the beginning, Theo.
Yeah.
It was hard, man. You get good
course.
people. You're like, man, we're losing more and more people right now. But now we're looking at it more as like, it's not really a loss. It's more of like basically a pass off, as they say in John Q. It's not goodbye or farewell. It's see you later. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's amazing.
But to me, I think that's huge. So I like that advice. Is there anything else that someone could do that could give them a little bit more of a competitive edge amongst someone else?
Big time.
Like a large,
Education.
like a education. Yeah.
Education.
Yeah.
People think about, you're working out. Great. You're working out your muscles. How are you working out your brain? Right?
Yeah.
Something to consider. So education is huge. Education is what gives you that extra edge to be articulate and to give you that kind of wisdom. So when you're going to a call or, again, going back to interpersonal skills, right? Are you going to be able to articulate yourself if there's some kind of a crisis going on? Can you de-escalate it? You're going to have very different, kinds of people that you're going to be engaging on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
So you need to be able to be versatile, and having that skill set to be versatile and to align with people on their different levels of communication is going to be a key helper to you.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, let's do two things here right now. First
Yeah.
of all, for agencies, law enforcement agencies, anyone that could potentially benefit from all the amazing stuff that TNT pushes out, how do they find you guys?
Yeah. So go to on our website or find us on LinkedIn, tntconsulting.ca.
Okay.
And we're constantly putting updates. We're constantly talking about, the different work that we're doing, the things that we're offering.
Okay.
Visit our website, give us a call. We're happy to give free consultations and talk about some of the things that we offer.
Okay. Amazing.
And also now on the other side where, based on the bulk of what you do, if one does want to get this certificate, what would be their pathway?
So their pathway is go to the OACP certificate.ca.
Yeah.
It has all the information there. Take your time, read the packages, read the information. We give you everything essentially before you even apply or obtain the package, and that'll help you start your journey.
Okay. Amazing.
Pretty amazing. I mean, this is the benefit of the information age, right? You have the information out there.
That's
People
right.
can take it. I mean, look, it's a shame to if someone has aspirations to get into law enforcement,
That's right.
and they hear this and they don't do something about it. And I just say, the one thing that I think it stood out is that these agencies now are going to help you.
That's right.
Feedback. You have a chance to even get feedback. So for those listening that might pause, don't discredit or discount yourself, right? Just try. Michael Jordan said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So
Amazing.
Yeah.
Theo, I want to thank you for coming down. I think it's incredibly valuable what the information, the nuggets that you put out today.
Yeah.
And I think it will also help add a little bit more to that completion of what someone needs to get themselves ready.
Of course.
So thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Theo Parassakis, for all my Greek brothers out there, thank you for coming down. Everyone have a fantastic day. Enjoy the rest of the one. Take care.
Peace.
This podcast is brought to you by Executive Protection Lifestyle Canada. Make sure to drop by next week and don't forget to subscribe.